Have you ever felt this deep longing for a faith that's, well, more than just admiring Jesus from a safe distance? To actually know what it means to walk with him day in and day out. Well, today we're jumping right into a story where Jesus reveals the real cost and the absolutely incredible reward of his invitation to follow.
All right, let's just get right to it because here is the central mystery. It seems like a total paradox, doesn't it? I mean, the one who said, "Come to me," seems to be turning people away. And you know what? Understanding why he did this, well, it's going to change how you see the invitation he gives to you and me today. So let's set the scene. We're in Matthew chapter 8. A huge crowd is pressing in on Jesus, and you can just feel the excitement in the air. And right out of this crowd, two different men step forward. And look, they say all the right things, they sound completely sincere, and they both make the exact same offer. I want to follow you.
Now, these aren't just any two guys. Their offers, and especially Jesus' responses to them, are incredibly specific and telling. So let's take a closer look at who they were and exactly what they said.
So the first man steps up with this huge, bold declaration. It sounds amazing, right? Totally heroic, no holds barred, wherever you go. Honestly, this is the kind of commitment you'd think Jesus would immediately accept, but there's a little more going on here.
And this little detail, it's absolutely crucial. A scribe wasn't just some guy. He was a person of status, a respected professional who taught the law. For him to offer to follow an unsanctioned, wandering preacher like Jesus, that was a massive deal. It came with a certain weight, and probably a certain set of expectations about what life would look like. And this is Jesus' stunning reply. He doesn't say, "Welcome aboard." He doesn't even say, "Thank you." He just offers this kind of cryptic picture. But he isn't just talking about being homeless. No, he's gently but directly exposing an unspoken assumption hiding deep in the scribe's heart. So just as the weight of that response is kind of hanging in the air, a second man makes his offer. And his request, it sounds completely reasonable. Actually, it sounds honorable. In that culture, caring for your parents, making sure they had a proper burial, was one of the highest duties you could perform. This feels like a perfectly good reason for just a short delay. And wow, again, the response is just shocking. To our ears today, it can sound so harsh, maybe even cold. But Jesus is doing something profound here. He's cutting right through the cultural politeness to get to a much deeper spiritual reality. He's forcing a choice that simply cannot be put off. So what is going on here? Was Jesus just being difficult? Not at all. He was being incredibly loving. What he was doing was revealing the hidden conditions, the little buts and ifs that these men had attached to their offers. He saw past their sincere words and looked right into their hearts.
You see, for the scribe, the condition was comfort. Jesus saw that he was basically signing up for what he thought discipleship would be. Following a respected rabbi to a place of honor and stability. But Jesus laid out the truth. Following him meant total surrender. It meant uncertainty, and it meant letting go of any claim to status or earthly security.
And for the second man, well, his condition was all about timing. He was essentially saying, "Jesus, I'm in, but on my schedule, right? After I've taken care of my other priorities." And Jesus' sharp reply revealed a critical truth. The call to follow him is always right now. To say later is really to say no in the present moment.
And this just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? It boils down to the two great barriers we still use today, the if and the when. One man would follow if the circumstances were just right. The other would follow when the timing was perfect. But both were placing conditions on their surrender to Jesus. Now, it's really easy to look back at these two men from 2,000 years ago and kind of analyze their mistakes. But the reason this story hits so hard, the reason it's still so powerful, is because it holds up a mirror directly to our own hearts. Let that sink in for a second. Their story is our story. We are the scribe, wanting Jesus plus our security and our comfort. And we are the second man, wanting Jesus plus our own timeline and our own plans. We love his teachings. We respect his compassion. But when that call comes to truly unconditionally follow, we so often hesitate, don't we? So here's the crucial point, this deep tension that we all live with. We often come to Jesus wanting blessings, peace, forgiveness, purpose, heaven. And listen, he offers all of that. But the path to actually receiving those things goes directly through something we are often so reluctant to give, our complete surrender.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? We want the eternal benefits of salvation, for sure. But we can be pretty hesitant about the here and now implications of his lordship over our comfort, our money, our plans, our timings.
But please don't hear this as a message of condemnation. That was never, ever Jesus' heart. His goal wasn't to disqualify them, it was to clarify the call. And this is where the story pivots, from a really hard challenge to a beautiful, life-changing hope.
I mean, think about it. He loved these men enough to tell them the truth before they made a commitment they didn't really understand. He was inviting them into something real, not just something that sounded good. He wanted true followers, not just fans in a crowd. He was awakening them to the reality of what his kingdom is all about.
And here it is, the great, beautiful paradox of faith. Jesus calls us to give up our lives, our conditions, our control, not to leave us with nothing, but so that we can find what he calls true life, or life to the absolute full. The surrender isn't the end of the story, it's the very beginning.
This is so important to get. The invitation is not based on our readiness. It's not based on our ability to have it all figured out. He doesn't ask us to clean up our act first. The call is simple, it's immediate, and it's powerful. Follow me. He is the one who makes us worthy as we walk with him.
And so this ancient story asks us a very modern, very personal question. It echoes down through 2,000 years right to you and me today. What are our conditions? What are our delays? What parts of our lives are we still holding back, keeping in reserve? The invitation is still standing.
And here is the beautiful, full-circle conclusion. The very same Jesus who had no earthly home, no place to rest his head, is the one who surrendered everything for us on the cross. And because he did that, he is now alive, he is reigning, and he is personally preparing an eternal home for all who answer his call without conditions. And that right there is the cost and the absolutely indescribable joy of the call.